Welcome back to Longbox Diving, where we explore comics and story arcs pulled from the Longbox. And it's time to do a new story arc review of the X-Men Legacy. And this one is called 5 Miles South of the Universe. Now, so if we go back in time and we go back to what we kind of just covered, we had the Legion did this whole reality warping thing with Mariah, personality Mariah, who's also the name of his mother. And he warped all the reality, and everything was kind of crazy, and then they conquered that, and then they're trying to help him fix his personality issues. They gave him a little Ben 10 watch, right, where you could dial in number 1100, bam, and he'd get the powers of that guy. So they found that 5 personalities were missing. They were out in the world doing their own thing, and they were able to get each one of those personalities and defeat them. And through this, Rogue has realized that Legion has the ability to teleport, like far distance teleport. And Marvel Girl had contacted her saying, hey, I need help out here in Shi'ar space. But of course, Rogue had no real way to get there. So when she kind of stole this power from Legion, and that's where we pick up here. Now this covers X-Men Legacy 254, X-Men Legacy 255, X-Men Legacy 256, X-Men Legacy 257, X-Men Legacy 258. Alright, so we have 5 issues in this story arc. And in the first part, we have Rogue steals Legion's powers, and she teleports into Shi'ar space. If you hear a puppy whining, that's because we have a brand new puppy named Midnight, who is crate training. So she is learning how to go potty outside. So you'll hear her whining ever so often. I'm sorry, not much I can do about it. And then you see there's Thor over there laying in his bed. All right, so the X-Men kind of get separated. A few of them, so we have basically Frenzy, Rogue, Gambit, and Magneto. So 3 of them get warped into this planet with a bunch of trees, and there's alien monsters and whatnot. But Rogue gets teleported into where Rachel is. Now Rachel is with apparently is a Shi'ar pirates of some sort have her. Why they have her, I'm not sure. I think I'm missing from another run somewhere. But basically, she is with these Shi'ar pirates, who is a mix of races. They have this guy they call Horse, his 4 arms, super strong. And so she bounces in there, and they're like, well, we found her. We don't know really why, what was going on, but they found Marvel Girl. So Marvel Girl seems to be unconscious. And we have this nice fight scene of the X-Men here. They're fighting robots and blowing things up, all the fun stuff. And Rogue is working with this Shi'ar team to try to figure out where Rachel came from, and she's trying to find the rest of the X-Men. And they find out that they're on some type of space station above a sun. All right, so you can see that right there. They're on a space station, and I like how that's kind of, see that you got the panel here, but it kind of flows out over here too, and then you have little intermediate panels above and below, so that looks really kind of cool. So Mike Carey did the story on this, and penciled by Steve Kurth. This book specifically, Steve Kurth. And through this, some of the art's okay. It has some really good splash pages where we're not detailed, but the faces are a little weird sometimes. And here's one of the aliens. This is that's one of the alien dudes, the Adnodgoth. They're like an insectoid species, right? So what they find out is the Shi'ar has been running this platform, and they had this slave species was the Adnodgoth. I believe it's Adnodgoth, and there's basically there's a massacre going on. The insectoid race has risen up against their masters, the Shi'ar, and they're out there like killing everything. And that's when I found out about Marvel Girl. Now Marvel Girl, they said, this is interesting. I wouldn't know. We picked up the girl because she measures a 9 tau 9 on the Kayatana size scale. So she's pretty powerful. They kind of tracked her down and picked her up, brought her into the ship because she's pretty powerful. which comes into play later, which is very kind of interesting. A tidbit, the way he did that is he gave us a scale and how strong Marvel Girl was on the scale, and that's a little foreshadowing. Rogue decides to battle the leader of the pirates for supremacy of the pirate team. That's interesting. And then we find out that basically Polaris, Havoc, and the Shi'ar warbird that carries that sword, I can't remember his name. For some reason, I just cannot remember his name. But he seems to be in love with Rachel. So they are there, but they are actually helping the insectoid species fight the Shi'ar. And normally, the Shi'ar and the X-Men are like, you know, they're allies, you know. But this is like really weird. So we see them actually not helping the Shi'ar. They're helping the alien species. So when we go into this issue right here. And again, this is Mike Carey and Steve Kurth. Again, the faces are a little weird sometimes. Other times they're fine. It's just kind of odd. But the overarching, the sun and the big asteroid and the big watching station, all that looks really kind of cool. So what happened? Rogue's challenged the leader of the pirates. The pirates asked Horse to battle her. And so she's battling Horse. You know, her power is you just tap and she takes his power, right? Horse is really strong. Her forearm's really super strong. She just taps him, is kind of done. But at the same time, after she taps him, Marvel Girl kind of turns his brain off. So she cheated, which the leader of the pirates does not take well. Just saying. And then we have this group of aliens here. This is a tribunal of aliens over here. And the tribunal are trying the Shi'ar. They're finding them guilty, and they're having them commit suicide. At the same time, they mention another alien insectoid named Friendless. I guess he's off on his own. They're wondering where he is, but he comes up big later. So in here, they are telepathic in some way, psychic in some way. They're causing the Shi'ar to actually commit suicide. And this does kind of bother Havoc and Polaris, but the Shi'ar has enslaved this whole alien race for years, and it seems, in a sense, justified, but there's not really a real trial. I mean, if it's a real trial, they really found guilty, then the state needs to commit, but forcing to commit suicide, that's a little much, and I think I would have a problem with that as well. I think they're guilty, and I think they'd be sentenced and go to prison, or, you know, if justified, but the state should institute the death penalty, not a tribunal of 3 guys forcing you to commit suicide. That just seems weird. So Magneto and Gambit and Frenzy kind of show up, and they do have a problem with how this is going down as well, and so they kind of attack. And we get kind of, look at that. Looks really kind of cool. We have this nice fight scene where Magneto is now kind of fighting Polaris. They're kind of destroying what's going on there. Like, hey, we cannot let this happen. And then, Polaris just takes out Magneto, takes him down. So that was kind of cool. And then we move into episode 3. So X-Men Legacy. Yeah, nice cover. So we got Havoc starts Havoc and Polaris are now, and the Shi'ar with the blade, forgot his name, are actually fighting the rest of the X-Men. So look at this. Havoc just kind of blasts Frenzy, and it doesn't do a thing. Frenzy's just walking right through it. And then you see over here all the aliens are like coming out of the stands. They're just thousands and thousands of this insectoid race. And so we have this, a great battle scene. Again, we have Rogue with the other team. They're trying to get to what's going on in this area. What's happening? Why are the Shi'ar being killed? What was Rachel there for? So they're kind of getting down to the end of this, and we come up to this guy whose name is Friendless. Friendless is kind of in here. You kind of see him back over here. His face is down in there. But what we come up here is over here, and this is memories. And what we find out is Friendless is off the psi meters. So remember back in the first issue we talked about how powerful Rachel was. This guy, it says, astonishing strength and range. The psi meters don't even calibrate high enough to measure him. So he would wipe the floor with Rachel, and we see later that he wipes the floor with Rachel. So the space station is breaking apart, and then the teams all meet up. So now we have the pirate team with Rogue, and we have Gambit and Magneto and Polaris, and they're all meeting up, and so they're all together now. They're like, listen, what Friendless is doing, because they found Friendless is actually mind controlling the alien insectoid species, and he's also mind controlling the Shi'ar, and he's causing the conflict to destroy everything. His goal is just to wipe everything out. And so they know he's up near the top, and so Frenzy and Rogue jump into this beam over here, to this giant beam of energy coming from the sun. From the sun. So this is how they're powering everything. It's a beam of energy up to the middle of the space station. And so she borrows a little bit of Frenzy's power, and they're both kind of getting beat up a little bit. But they fly all the way up to the top of the space station to get to Friendless. Look at that nasty looking dude. Alright. So now we get into the next episode, and we have this cover. This is a pretty cool looking cover. I've always liked Havoc, though they kind of messed him up multiple times. But so this is Mike Carey, and then we swap pencils over to Khoi Pham, and so things change a little bit. But man, look at this, just beautiful stuff, man. Look at the space station. Look at them flying up through the sun power through. Just very cool stuff. All right. And so what they realize is they need to get to the top to recalibrate things. They find Friendless is taking control of the Shi'ar. The rest of the team try to go down to the landing where the planes and spaceships are, and they're like all messed up, and so now the guys having to use his special power to fix all those machines. Rogue was given a wand, electro wand or whatever, from the pirate master, the old pirate guy. So she goes up to the top, so now she has a weapon, even though all she has is Frenzy's power to tap onto. And the Shi'ar actually get a null matter gravity gun, null matter gun of some sort, and they're going to aim it. They're aiming it at the X-Men. So this thing just kind of wipes out all matter. It's one of the forbidden guns, but it kind of wipes out all matter. I don't know how that kind of works, because does it keep going until I don't know. So they shoot that off, and while they're trying to recalibrate the machine to get to the top, the rest of the team, Rachel kind of goes out into Psychic Realm and decides to battle Friendless. Now you see she's doing that here, and she is not winning. She gets beat up. So they shoot to this gravity null matter gun, and it just wipes out anything in front of it. The team is still trying to fix the airplane or the spaceship. Rogue's up at the top. She's kind of coming to, and I mean, look at that. That is very cool looking. Wipes everything. It's coming, and it's wiping everything out. But the electro wand that the old space pirate guy had given to Rogue is actually a teleportation device, and so he jumps to the top with his personal shield and starts doing the whole Star Trek separate the command module. So they're actually taking off away from the space station to escape, because the guy is the ultimate coward. And he's going to escape, and of course Rogue and Frenzy go with him, because hey, they're stuck on the command module separation from the Star Trek Enterprise, and the whole space station is crashing, and we have this, look at that, the null energy wave is running through the X-Men, and they are about to get just murdered. Everything is going to pot, man. It is all getting just messed up. And then we get into X-Men Legacy 258. Again, this is Mike Carey, and we swap back to Steve Kurth. And again, we're back to the weird faces. It's just the way it is. So you see, Friendless is just, he's got control of Rachel. He is just messing up Rachel's mind. Rogue and Frenzy cannot get through to the pirate guy because he's got a personal shield that's just wiping them out. And then we have this. Look at that. The whole space station is crashing into the sun, on top of the fact that you have a null matter array racing through the space station as well. Well, Rogue finally realizes if it's a teleportation device, then maybe and it teleport you here, maybe it can teleport my team here, and it does. So she's able to teleport the rest of the team up onto the top of the command module separation from the Star Trek Enterprise, And so they're all up there, and we just get kind of some weird, I mean, look, weird faces here. Look, that's kind of weird. Her face and Rogue's face, and I don't know, just weird stuff. And basically, they break through the pirate shield. They get the gravity gun is destroyed in the sun, and Friendless is up there. And Friendless has the gravity gun. It wasn't destroyed. The null matter array gun was not destroyed. Friendless has it, and he's going to shoot it at the command module that's flying away. So Rogue and Rachel tag team. So she takes a little bit of Rachel's power. So Rachel has less power, and Rogue has a little power, but they tag team and they get Friendless. I'm not sure how that works exactly, because every other time Rogue's stolen a power, the other person's gotten a little weaker. So if Rachel was already weak, and then Rogue takes some of her power, now it's just basically two people half the powerful as Rogue, or Rachel is taking on Friendless, who is more powerful than, I don't know. It didn't make sense here, but they take him, they fly him off, and they said this doesn't seem fair, and they said neither is genocide. And then Rogue's trying to use some, they don't explain this either. So the null matter thing shoots off. Rogue is trying to use antimatter and solar fusion to create a warp teleportation of the command module back home to Earth. How did she learn to do that? I don't know. She didn't touch anybody other than Rachel. I don't know where she got the ability to do this, but you see it kind of happening here. You see the sun. You see them kind of teleport over here, and they get back to Earth, and everything's fine. And so they arrest the Pirate King guy, because he's a coward and a jerk and a bad dude, just bad, evil dude. And so they end up and they fly home back to Utopia with the command module from a space station, Shi'ar space station, and that's basically it. So I think the next arc is going into Regenesis. So overall, this was not a bad story arc. I really kind of enjoyed the story. The space, destruction, things blowing up, things going kaboom. That was kind of cool. The slave race uprising against the master. You have Friendless, an overarching enemy bad guy that's doing all the bad stuff. Overall, very cool story. Very kind of cool story. I didn't very much care for Steve Kurtz's some of his work. I mean, his big broad things out was great. His very detailed stuff was not so great. Fam stuff was great. I enjoyed that. So overall, I would rate this about a 3. Overall, the covers were awesome on it, but overall, I think the story and the art and the covers all together rack up to about a 3. Definite recommend. It was a really kind of cool story. I really enjoyed this run of X-Men Legacy, and we'll see you next time here in the Long Box.